Fuck it, let's do it live.
Woo!
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a LOBE podcast. Today we're bringing you something special. We are talking LOBE standings. Currently,
Super special week.
your boy, who's with me on the podcast, Ryan, has taken over the league. Ryan,
Taking
why
it
don't you go ahead
over.
and lead us out here? Tell us about your triumphant last few weeks. Tell us why you're number one.
Oh, well, I'm number one because my team scores the most points. That's the plain and simple. I have the most points in the league. I've had the most points in the league for almost the entire season. I think there was maybe 1 week where Jimmy was ahead of me, and finally, I'm at the top of the league. Jason took a loss last week. I've won 2 in a row, tied record. I got him by almost 100 points. Feels good to finally be on top. Feels good.
Oh, I bet. I wish I could be that high up right now in points. I currently sit. Oh, let me just keep scrolling real quick.
Oh,
Third from
no.
last in points.
Third from last. That's going to hurt
Somehow
you
I
in the
hold
end, I
a
think.
50-50 rating. I don't know how.
People don't show up. You also don't show up yourself. It's as though every time you're in a game with somebody, it's like it's snowing. It's like a snowball.
Dude, no one comes to play against
Offensive
me.
production
No one
out of
wants to play against the Finns.
Your team's got like a special home field. It's always crappy on offense. Even for us,
real.
it's not going to be good.
So I don't get it. Literally no one comes to play against me. I am way down there. I got some good voodoo. I think when people play me, they're like, "Oh crap. I don't really gotta score that much because he doesn't score that much." So then they like take a risk they probably shouldn't have. Because they're like, "Oh, I want to be cool and
See, I would
play
think
this
people
guy
would
because he's
play
playing all
high
his
floors.
homies." You know, I play a lot of
Maybe.
Dolphin players.
True.
But
You
Jimmy's
filled it up.
over here. Jimmy's had the roughest year out of everybody.
Oh my
He's
goodness,
not
he
going to even
owns
make the
both of
playoffs.
them. He's not. I think we could stick a. I mean, there is
Yeah.
a small chance he makes it still. He has to win out and have people lose. But I almost want to say we could stick a fork in him. He has the second most points for, and I think the most. Yeah, the most against.
It's egregious.
It's such a crazy year for him. I would be so upset. You would hear me ranting every week that this is bullshit.
It's rigged.
It's rigged. I don't know what's going on. Are you guys putting players in when I'm not looking? I would be very upset if I had this many points, but I was 9th in the league.
I would be upset too. It's terrifying
This is
that he
most
can be
bad
that high
luck
up
possible.
and still lose that much. It really sticks a fork in like the idea that a high scoring team makes you to the playoffs. And in our league, it does not. Clearly.
I think this is like 1 in a million right here. I don't think this happens like ever.
Where you are
This is
basically
so
the
rare.
highest in points and you're
Nope.
basically the highest against.
Yes. Where
I
you
just
almost own both titles. There's multiple weeks this year where he was at the top of both.
Oh
Like
yeah.
just last week he was at the top of both those lists, and I'm like, what are the freaking odds that every week people would just keep showing up? Your team does nothing wrong. His team's not hurt. He's not making bad coaching decisions. Like he's doing everything you need to do.
A great team.
Just for fucking whatever reason, everybody else shows
Since we're
up.
stuck on his team, we might as well mention now to everybody on screen. You're gonna see Josh Allen, Cordero Patterson, Austin Eckler, Brandon Ayuk, and Amon St. Brown, Mark
Sun
Andrews,
God.
Mr. Carter, Miles Sanders, Zach Ertz, Gabe Davis. The guy has a solid team, and in terms of
Solid.
defense, you know, not too bad of a defense. He's got
Fred
Fred
Warner's pretty darn good. Yeah.
Christian Wilkins, Not sure why he's still using him, but he's had him all year and he won't let him go. He has really high
I,
hopes for Wilkins.
I assume that, or he just said it and forget it because he really hasn't moved his IDPs at all this year, unless there's been a buy situation. So, as wild as his team is scoring, there's room for improvement.
It's unbelievable. He's scoring unbelievable points.
In my
I
opinion,
feel
like
for
there's
him.
players out there he could get that are pretty deadly on defense.
I definitely feel for him. Well, here we go. And Boned Again Christian. He has lost some games recently. If you're listening, I feel your pain. You now, Jason, I don't know, if you lose out, may not make it to the playoffs. Now that's interesting to think about, considering you were a shoo-in 3 weeks ago. We all said there's no way he doesn't make it to the playoffs. What do you think, Ryan?
Yeah. We thought all thought the same thing. Like he's definitely gonna make it. His team's great, and just a couple. I think he had a loss 3 weeks ago, won a game, and he just had a loss last week. And yeah, I mean, me and him are tied in record. I got the points for, and even I don't feel safe at number one in our league because 2 games. We got 3 games left,
If you
and
lose out, you're out.
the teams that are just 3 games away from taking me over, there are 7 of them. That's just insane. There's 7 teams that could possibly finish ahead of me, and I'm number one in the league right now at 8-4.
Oh, I really needed a win last week, and it boiled me. To see
I'm gonna keep.
whoever it was completely go off against me, I
It
was
was Ben.
broken.
This is a commissioner battle.
I'm trying to think of Ben's player that went off. Was it Jacobs?
Josh Jacobs. Yeah. Got 50
Oh, when I
burger.
watched that
on
game,
his
I was
face.
destroyed. I was
No.
done. I had
It
a
was
fork stuck in my
questionable.
back.
Do you know that? Before
Huh?
before the game, Josh Jacobs was questionable. The Raiders said questionable with a tight calf. And then he goes out and has 300 yards from scrimmage.
Okay, yeah, that's why I already started forgetting it, because I had written him off. I was like, I'm winning this fucking game. Commissioner battle win. I was gonna call it another win this year for me, and I usually win against Ben anyway, so it was gonna be great. I was gonna parade into the Discord, high dolphins everywhere.
I got all the gifts lined up. I'm sure all the memes.
Oh, I had gifts. I had a whole folder of gifts ready to go. Nope. None of them got used.
4 o'clock rolled around. You were like, yes, questionable. He ain't going to have a good game. I got this shit on lock. And then he goes out with a tight calf, apparently, and puts up 300 yards and multiple touchdowns.
Ruined me.
Big, giant fucking runs. Really spanked you on that one.
And
really gave it to you.
That performance alone is the reason why I like running backs. Everyone wants to go, ooh, I want to get the wide receiver. Later on in the season, these running backs take over games and seal them out against these shitty teams.
Dude, a 50 burger from any skill position is also super rare. I think the last time I think there's only been 3 or 4 people that have ever gotten 300 yards from scrimmage in a game. I think it was like Adrian Peterson did it, and I think it was a couple really old players that I don't even recognize their name. So it's so rare. Even Doug Martin, like 4 or 5 years ago, gave me 50 points. But it was on the back of like 5 touchdowns, not 300 yards. You know? So you got hit by a history game, and that's just really bad luck.
Yeah, I feel the fork.
You were kind of fucking
shoved so deep into my back. I was done.
Oof.
I was stunned. And it was really when he broke that long touchdown at the end of the game. Didn't even need to run that freaking thing. No, he broke it.
You're just staring at it going, oh, no.
Oh, it was a fucking big old fork into the back, size of Alaska. Anyway, we had the shit bowl. Let's get over my terrible freaking team. I'm not making it to the playoffs this year. I deserve it. I'll do my studying.
Still do it.
Fantasy
You're
gods,
definitely
I
not
will
gonna get
study
there.
going forward.
You're not going to get there with your points, but you still have a good enough record. You're just one game out. One game.
I am
really 2 games.
I need to get 3 games, 3 wins, and I'll be in. Because I have such poor points in 4, which is our tiebreaker. For those who's wondering, our tiebreaker is 4 points. It's not gonna allow me in. And you know what? Tom got himself a chance with 3 wins in a row. Is now in the running.
I was gonna ask you that. He has just as few points for as you. You guys have the same record. Corey has like 200 more points than you two. But you all 3 have the same record. So do you really feel like Tom has a shot if you don't think you have a shot?
I don't know. If he wins out 3 more wins, how can he not make it? I don't know.
Yeah, 9 wins. You
9
still
wins
have.
has got to get you into the playoffs. I feel like in our league, it's got to.
It doesn't have to because you got 1, 2, 3, 7, and 5s. So if those 7 and 5s win out, that's 10.
This is going to be the closest league.
Me and Jason
we've
just
ever
won 2
seen.
games. That's 10. It's going to be a dog race. I feel like 9 gets you in. I believe that too. But if everyone's at 9, you and Tom don't really have the points.
Let's say you win out.
You're right. So
let's just say this. You win out. That gets you 3 more wins. And then Bone Again Christian, you know what? Say he wins out. 3 more wins.
Okay.
And then the rest of us are fighting for 2 positions. That could be pretty interesting. It could go any way at that point. But
is that the way you want it to go? Do you want me and Jason just to run away with some shit so you can scrap for the other 2, or do you want this to be real even?
Well, my thing is, I think if you guys win out, you're gonna force everyone else to take losses, right? So that at that point, anyone else who's playing each other is taking losses too. So there's only a few wins to go with, and then if I win out, that's my best shot.
Yeah, it is your best shot. So you need me to win.
I need you and Jason to pick your shit up, put it in a backpack, take it to the corner, and sell it.
So let's go over the 3, 7, and 5 teams real fast here. We got Doug, Ben, and Derek. We're sitting at 3, 4, and 5 respectively to that order, and they all got solid points. So they're all right there, just like 100-ish points behind me, the leader. So still fighting it. I could have a bad week. They could have a great week. They could get up there. Yeah. Of these guys up here, like I feel like all 3 of their teams are pretty scary, actually.
All these teams are nasty. Tom's team's freaking nasty. Leroy and Kirk's team's surprisingly good. Everyone here, Isaac's team is even good. Like
Isaac's team is just hurt.
We have
so banged up.
Oh yeah. We have dogs. Everyone in this league is a dog.
Everyone.
They're fucking
And
fighting
no
for
one's
it.
slouching. Oh yeah, we all tooth and claw fighting for every square.
They're like $30 on the
can.
line. Fuck everything else.
I want that trophy. I want that Celebi.
For real.
He's
That's
pretty
what
in
I'm
the
gunning for.
house.
I want that nameplate on the side. Hey, are we starting
stamped
the
in
side?
history.
Are we starting plates on the
If we need
side
to,
now?
yeah. Well, I think we need to get them all off there and start put the old ones on the side.
Oh no.
And have the new ones in front.
Oh, I don't know about that. Oh, I haven't thought of that. I thought once we put it down, we put it down, and just
Okay, okay.
I don't know. I the
I
front is the
mean,
front.
I'm gonna be kind of, I mean, two-way selfish here. One, I think it'd be cool when you look at it first, you see who the current champion is, or like the current decade, or something
Yeah,
like that. You know,
m-
'cause you get like
yeah.
10 years on there and
I,
shit. So
I'm
like, oh, this decade this happened. Oh, that decade that. So I think that's cool. And also, there's a part of me that doesn't like seeing fucking Leroy's name that many times in a row, or Doug's that many times in a
I
row.
feel that. I
I
don't
read
want
it and I'm
Doug
like,
and
shit,
Leroy's
really?
name on the
Darn it.
front of the trophy so
Ugh.
much. Maybe
These
what we
guys
could do.
have so much real estate on this thing, and it really bothers.
I
Oh, look, my name got on there once. Cool.
I don't know. It's hard to
Uh,
say. Do you what do you guys think out there? Do you guys think we should move the so what we got on our trophy is we got the first decade with plates. And each plate has the team name, how many points they scored, and like the year or something like that, right? Anyway, so the first decade's there. Now, do we move that first decade onto the side and start putting more there on the front?
ooh, yeah,
Or
current
do we keep it
stuff.
as is where the first decade's in the front and we move and start putting stuff on the back? Do they get the rights? Have they earned the rights to those first 10, you know? Do they
Forever.
have the right to have it on the front of the trophy for the rest of the Celebi life? I don't know.
Some people weren't even, I feel like half the league wasn't even there. So I mean, it's kind of unfair to them.
Yeah,
I
I
was
mean
there.
that's a good
I
point.
should have won it. I let him do it. I was
And it's
part of
evolved.
the.
The league keeps evolving, and it's getting harder and harder to get a trophy because we're all getting better. And
Well, not only are we getting better, but we're fine tuning the points to where we're like, okay, we can't have that because this is just crazy. Like the one year Doug won, sacks were so much that a defensive lineman could be like near a quarterback in some games. And you're like,
yeah,
okay, this
he
is broken.
drafted back to back J.J. Watt and another defensive player, I think from Minnesota,
I feel like
some
it was
baller
Christian.
that year, and oh my
Christian.
God, ran through everybody that year. He won the trophy.
Yeah. He didn't. He. I mean, he had really good other players that were really good, but it was essentially those two players that just kept.
It was a
Anytime
difference
something
maker.
would kind
Yeah,
of happen on a team where it didn't go so well, didn't matter. About to pop 20.
when you got the sack leader and he's having like a career year and like sack record breaking year, it's
Yeah.
man in a league that valued sacks at 5 points, I believe.
Yeah, I think it was around 5, and then sack yardage as well, and sack counts for a tackle for loss. So you get like you could, there was so many of these points. I remember us moving sacks down. We moved tackle for loss a little bit down. The yardage, I think we took like
Hence
we just.
why a sack is only 2 points right now, people. I know y'all want me to raise it, but uh, we've been there. We've been where it was 3 points just for the sack. Y'all don't want
Yeah.
that because then we get those extra yards added in, and it starts becoming quite a bit of pointage. And you got a defensive lineman that went off on 25 points, while your
And you're
best
like, how'd
back
this
just
happen?
went 14
Oh, he
points.
took the quarterback. Yeah, and it's like, how'd this happen? Like, well, the quarterback took two 15-yard sacks. So that's like 6 points apiece. It's like a touchdown apiece, essentially. You don't want to live in that world. It gets real weird. I think what we found is like at the end of the year, we would go look at how many points total and how often or how kind of maybe how consistent those points came, and we basically just try to level it out. Like, okay, don't let a defensive lineman score any more than like a running back would. You don't want any oddities there, right? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, certainly.
We like mitigated that. So if you go and look at our points, the top of the top are pretty even with each other, with the exception of like quarterbacks and obviously the running backs at the top are are amazing, but pretty much all of our IDPs, they're kind of straight line. Like, yeah, if you have the best linebacker, he's about as valuable as the best defensive lineman. Same goes with the DB. But any old hooey, back to what we were talking about in our league. It is tight. It is super close. This week is probably the biggest week for the playoffs. Like, I realize the next three are going to be huge, but this is when it starts. 'Cause I play Jimmy.
This is make or break it time, ladies and gentlemen.
And let's talk about the
are
make
in
it
a
or
league
break it.
and if you got 3 weeks left in your crunch time, man, it is some of the best fantasy football. Enjoy it, because this is the last 3 weeks. You might be out.
Oh, enjoy the ride now. Get all the fun you can out of it, because you might not make it. If you do make it, you only got 2 more weeks of it. So this is 5 more weeks of what we do every year to have fun.
Yeah, and it's a blast. If you're wondering if you want to do fantasy football, or if this is fun, like, man, we've done this for well over a decade now with the same group, basically, and it's become real competitive. We got a Discord. We do a bunch of chatting in there. We've done shit talking, talk about our teams, air out our grievances with everything. It's great. It's wonderful.
All
That's
the
why we
unfairness
call
of
LOBE.
fantasy. Yeah.
Well, if you've been with us right now, we are looking at overall win, loss, tie on what's called the breakdown. And this is if you won based on the points you have against all of the teams. So week 7, Jimmy won only 2 against 2 people, and he lost against 9. But there were weeks where he had the most points, where he was 11-0. And this is your total score based on that breakdown. And so Jimmy has 85 and 47, while Taxman has 85 and 47. You're right there, Ryan, with 79 and 53.
Right.
And then Bone Again Christian, Jason, and Ben, Corey line up the next ones. And I'm way, way down here. But somehow, me, scrappy me, I have a chance into the playoffs every year.
Somehow. You're under 500, and yet you still have a shot.
Yeah, I'm terrible.
Leroy technically has a better team because of the wins, and and yet he's completely out of the playoffs. So do you want to talk about...
So this is how crazy the league can be based on your opponent you play each week, the voodoo you set on the players. Look, man, when I'm playing someone each week, I'm thinking negatively about their players. I'm like, oh, he ain't doing shit this week. He ain't doing nothing. And I'm mentally putting it out there. And you know what? I try to speak it into existence. And I mean, that's kind of, if you believe in whatever superstitions or whatever, you probably can see what happened there. But, you got to play a little bit like that. That's the voodoo I put on these teams. And it's working for me. Now, I can't explain it. And it's happened every year for me. I don't know why. It's not like I'm psychic.
You used to call it the Brady Magic when you had Brady on your team?
Yeah, I used to call it Brady Magic because I just kept Brady and Romo. Man, I'd run Romo every year. Get me into the playoffs, Romo, and he would. He was consistent. People hated on him. He wouldn't even get picked in drafts. I'd pick him. I'd pick him way there at the end, dude. Snatch from Mr. Romo up while no one wanted him. That's the scrappy stuff you got to do. Welcome to Lobe. I hope you join us for more. This has been a review, state of the league. This is Cruz and Ryan out.
Peace out, bro.